This will serve as a very quick introduction to Flash Professional CC. When starting, go with an HTML5 canvas page. And when your workstation or work area comes up, remember, you can always zoom in to whatever works for you. The more precise you want to do something, more precisely, the more zoomed in you would want to be. Now there are several views you can go with up here, but some of the key items I would have available at most times are going to be the Properties tab, the Library, and then Swatches and Colors. Because the way that works, say if I pull up the pen tool, its properties are going to be here, on what type, color, that sort of thing. Same with the pencil, we can change that over here. If we went with the text tool, we could choose what type of text we want. And the same applies to the various shapes over here. We could decide what type of fill we want or line style and change anything that's available. And please remember, you can scroll down as necessary. Now whenever you see an icon with this little corner in the bottom, please know that you can click and hold and you might have some other options. The primitive tool isn't something we use yet, but just know that there are other options available, such as with and a few things like with the pencil, you can also choose if you want any computer assistance. So we have smoothing here. So if I was to draw, it'll sort of smooth out the rough edges on there. So how much you do that is up to you. You can also draw shapes with the pen tool. Notice I have like a pink fill there. If you click and then hit the anchor point, it should fill for you. If not, you can go to the paint bucket and click on the inside. Note that the ink bottle is how you change the outline. Another very useful tool is, say you have a background picture in and you want to match a color exactly, you can use this eyedropper tool to go over something and it will automatically automatically adopt that color. Some other items we have, you should know about the free transform tool. It'll allow you to scale, rotate, that sort of thing. This black arrow, the selection tool, is also pretty cool in that you can click and sort of just modify anything you would like just by clicking on the edge. The pen tool as well, if you click and then click and hold, you're able to draw very precise curves with that. The pen tool is tricky, but it's very much worthwhile if you would like to draw precise shapes. Let me redo. Undo and redo, Control Z and Control Y. Those should become your friends. You'll be using those quite a bit. And note the timeline. We have our onion skinning here, frames, and if frames are ever blacked out, you can always usually change it over on the properties area. If you ever want to make a symbol, an object into a symbol, it goes into your library. That way you can reuse it as many times as you would like. And of course know that you can right-click and add to your various keyframes and frames. Keyframes are what you use when you're going to have something move, but if something's going to stay the same and be sort of a static image over multiple frames, you can just go to Insert Frame and notice nothing is moving whatsoever. We can also create additional layers, and whatever is on top is going to be obviously on top of your drawing. So if you want something in the background, you can just relayer it however you want. Note that if you don't want your background to be seen, you can close it for just while you're working on your current project. And if you don't want it to be accessed, like if you accidentally click on something and you keep selecting your background or something in a different layer, you can lock your layers and then you don't have the issue of it ever coming up and being accidentally selected. So that's a very, very quick and easy introduction. Also, one last thing, if you ever want to test your movie in a way that so you see what it looks like in a browser, just hit Control Enter or click Test. A couple of other things you can do. Also remember to save early and save often. And if we're going to use this in a different context, we want to export it. But you also have the ability to zoom in and out, and you can turn on grids. If it helps you organize things, these won't show up in your document. A ruler if you're trying to be precise. And say if you want to align things very precisely, but don't want to do it by eye, you can draw a box around something, then hold down Shift so you can also select something else. And then you have the option of going to Modify, and you can align items. So we'll go with Vertical Center and see what that does. So aligns them based on their centers vertically. So there are a few options on how things can help you. Of course, text is available. And should you ever lose any of your windows, if I lose my properties over here, I can always go to Windows and turn properties back on. So that's enough to get you started, I believe.